Hello, welcome back to another episode of Magic Finance Method with me, Jonathan Medina. So, I put out a couple of these on YouTube and I got a little bit of feedback back, which is encouraging. Um, we have something from Robo Bear over here. Shout out to Robo Bear. He said, I asked if I should do more of these videos, just kind of getting a feel for if people want this kind of content or not. And he said, yes, but if you're looking to scale up, consider a loose script, goal for your video, and this acronym that basically means explain it, be more explanatory. I think that these are good recommendations in general. I think that i if you want the video to be quality, you have to have some kind of goal. And basically, the last couple videos was me just turning on the camera. I was going to go look for something to buy for my buddy, and I just brought you along. So the structure wasn't really there, and it led to some awkward moments where I'm just kind of pausing. I'm just looking through deck list. I was trying at the time to keep talking about what I was thinking about while I was looking at these deck lists, different cards that were catching my attention, why they might be catching my attention. And the whole essence of this is to do that, to basically say, this is my method. Okay, this is how I pick cards to invest in. I want to get things before they spike. I don't want to just report to you things that are spiking. I'm trying to invest in things before they spike, hopefully long before, so the price is lower. So I am going to take some of that feedback to heart, and what we're going to try to do is just make more of a structure to these videos, even though I'm going to do the same thing, look through things, try to cover the method instead of just kind of covering news. I am going to try to be more structured. So what we'll do is we'll go over the stuff that I did find on that day. So basically, I'll bring my spreadsheet over here. That day of searching, we found four cards that were interesting to me. Um, Eldridge Evolution, which is $1.74. I think it's a good long-term investment. So something I probably want to buy at a dollar or less and then wait a couple of years to see it appreciate to maybe $5. We have unexpectedly absent foil. Now this is already gone up. So when I looked at it that day, there was only one copy for $9. I bought it. It was $9 or $10. I bought it, and now every other copy is 19 or above. And on eBay they're going for 14 and above. So eventually this is going to be a $20 foil and then even probably a $30 foil unless it gets reprinted with a foil printing. Now, everything I say is barring reprints, right? I mean, reprints is something that is it's a normal risk, and I don't think we need to say it every time I say, "Oh, Dreadboard looks pretty good," in case it gets reprint. I don't want to you just accept that as a general risk for everything that we talk about. Dreadbore I put on the list. It's something I've been watching for a long time. Hasn't been under $2 in a long time, and it it I like this kind of card because it grows with Magic. So as Planeswalkers are printed, this will always grow with those planeswalkers. So the more planeswalkers there are, the better Dreadbore is because Dreadbore kills a creature or a planeswalker. Especially if there start to be some competitive planeswalkers at 2 and 3 mana, the window to deal with a planeswalker to get an answer starts to shrink. And this gives a nice 2 mana answer where most of the answers are more mana, with the exception of Pithing Needle. So I like it, but I don't like it enough to buy it. I wish it was cheaper, but I still want to watch it because if I start see a lot of play in modern or other formats like that, Legacy, then I'm going to start taking a harder look at it. The last one here was Bedlam Reveler foil. This was actually in the third video that I never published, and part of the reason is it was just too many pauses, too many is it was too erratic, and I just decided not to publish that. But I did find these Bedlam Revelers. They're about $4.40 in foil. They see a lot of play in Legacy and in Modern. When I say a lot, I mean they see play in popular decks. They're usually only a 1 to 2 of. The pre-release foil is a problem, but it is in low supply. It's in lower supply. So I would see this in over 2 years. This could be a $10, $12 foil. And so $4 is not bad to pay for it now. Even at $12, if you sell it, well, that's best case. If you sell it $10, uh, you ship it for 50 cents, and then you lose 15% on the fees, whether you sell it through TCG Player or eBay. That's $1.50. That's $2. You get $8 out of it. You paid $4.40 for it. It's almost double your money. So it's okay. It's okay. So these are the cards that we found. Um, I think they're good things to watch. And the only one I bought was one foil unexpectedly absent. So basically, right now I have about $250 to spend, and that is minus $10 for the unexpectedly absent. So now I have $240 to spend, and I'm still looking to spend it on cards. I might buy some Bedlam Revelers. If I buy 10 of those, that's about $50. So that's on the docket, but we want to look for some more cards. Um, and this is typically where I'd probably look, but I've already done some looking for day two. I came up with two cards that I found interesting. The first one's Jeweled Amulet. Instead of dragging you through deck lists right now, we'll take a look at these. Jeweled Amulet's an interesting one. It's one showing up in these 1 versus 1 commander decks, and it's 50 cents. It is basically the way it works. Let's see if we can get a better reading of it here. The way it works is it's 0 mana. You put it in play, and then you pay a mana into it to put a charge counter on it, and then you could tap it to remove a mana and get it out. So it's just basically like kind of like a storage place for mana. This is seeing play in a Grixis commander list. It definitely sees play in the Yisan commander deck. That's how I first heard about the card, was when I was building Yisan. You want as many cards as you can to enable a turn 2 Yisan, and this is like basically a mana elf that you get to do that. So I think over 2 years, if I put this in a box, if I buy 100 of these, put them in a box over 2 years, then we can see this card be $4 card, and if we buy them at 50 cents, then we do all right. So with a case like that, you buy at 50 cents, and if it's $4, you can buy list them for $2. You don't even need to ship them on eBay or whatever. You just go and sell them to a vendor, and then make $1.50 each. So it's $150 if you buy 100 of them. So I think this is it's a decent thing to look at. I will probably buy a handful of them, but I don't want to buy 100 out of these sellers. There's only 79 sellers. I don't want to come in here and buy 100 of these, because what's going to happen if I do that is they will spike, or at least it'll go on the radar, and people will start looking into it and this kind of thing. So like this one here, 12, I might buy these 12. Well, these are damaged. I don't know if I want damaged ones. I definitely don't. I want near mint. So I will be looking for a place where I can buy a big quantity of these from them. I won't be trying to do it through TCG Player. Maybe my local has a bunch of them, or some other people who are not on TCG Player. There's some stores that are not on TCG Player. Those are the best places to buy stuff like this, so that you don't cause a scare. And also so that people who want the card can get it for 50 cents right now. And it's not going to be until 2 years from now that it really naturally goes up with the natural demand. So that's how I like to do it. I mean, other people can do whatever they want. So I found that one. I like it. It's on the list to consider. When I do the buys, I'll let you know what I actually buy and how many quantities, and we'll do an update of where we are with the $240. Tainted Pact is another one. This one's seen a lot of play in a bunch of different commander lists. This is a card that could also be good in multiplayer commander. Basically, you exile the top card of your library and you repeat that until you find the card that you want. and then you keep that card, and it's an instant speed, essentially a tutor. It's $5.31. This one's going through some, I think, a little bit of growing pains, or a little bit of, it looks like it's like kind of pre-spike right now, uh, because there are only 62 vendors with it. It You have a light play for 375, which is a lot lower than this 530. But it's like the gap is closing on these. Look at 326, but that's really 426 with 99-cent shipping. And you start to see like you can buy it from between 375 and 5. But as these start to dry up, this is going to become more of the price, and I think even more than that. Another indicator that this is a good card in. So I guess the best way to explain this is there's a foil modifier, right? So right here, the foil is $30. Now, when you think about that, typically a foil is maybe double what the card is worth. So, you might see foils for $12, $10. When a foil is so much higher than what the card is worth at its non-foil copy, that means that number one, that this is a card that's relevant in a foil format. And if that card is relevant in a foil format, it's an eternal card. It's a card that has value on its own. So when you see a high foil multiplier like this, it means one of two things: either this price is going to go up, or there's some kind of fluke on the foil side. And I think it means in this case that this price is going to go up. But I don't know how much. How much is a tutor worth? The best tutor, demonic tutor, is $18. Let's just double check, make sure I'm right on that. Haven't looked that up in a while. 23 bucks, 36, 21. Yeah, it's above 20. So 25, 23. This card, that's the room it has to grow. Um, it's never going to be as much as a demonic tutor, I don't think. Demonic tutor has been printed a number of times, reprinted, so that does kind of change the math. But what I'm saying is demonic tutor will always be better than this card, and so this card price will always probably be lower. But doesn't stop it from being a $10 card, $15 card. And then if it was playable in Legacy, let's say there was a Legacy combo deck that started to use it, then yeah, it would definitely probably be higher than Demonic Tutor at that point, because Demonic Tutor is not legal in Legacy. So something to consider. I have that on the list here on day 2. We got Tainted Pack to look at and Jeweled Amulet. So that's like I said, these are pre-spike cards. These are things that are not, nobody's talking about, but they have lots of potential to grow. And I'm going to be looking at more cards. We'll probably be digging through some more deck lists, looking at some different sources for Magic Finance news, and see if we can pick up on any rumblings that might make something else more expensive. A lot of times when people are buying things out and things are spiking, you can kind of read between the lines and see, okay, where are things moving from there. So I hope you've enjoyed this take on the Magic Finance method. I'm gonna keep trying different things, or I may, as long as this is interesting, as long as it's interesting to me, as long as it doesn't take too much time, and as long as it's interesting to you, I'll keep trying some different things. I may just get bored with this and stop doing it, and it, you know, it just depends on what it actually does. So I appreciate you stopping by, and I'll talk to you later.